we're trying to understand uh, the issue of Shevet. Now we know that the Braita began by saying, by sort of expanding on the Mishnah. The Mishnah said, Shevet, ro'ino toki iluhu shomer kishuin, because kvar natan lo demeado demeraglo. The Braita added, if you say lak tamida hadin, if that seems unfair, well, it's not unfair because we already paid Nezek. And then we had the middle part of that Braita that kind of shifted the focus from it's unfair because of his previous income to, well, the statement in the Mishnah that whatever his injury, we pay him from here on as if he's a Shomer Kishuin, itself seems kind of arbitrary, since who knows what he'll be capable of. Now, that latter point, while it doesn't seem to have been the original focus of the Baraita, is in fact a reasonable kasha on the Mishnah. The Mishnah says, whatever his injury, Shevet, you pay him as a Shomer Kishuin because you've already paid him Nezek. Why Shomer Kishuin? So that's the question that Rava comes to address. Here's Rava's whole statement. There are four clearly parallel pieces. Basically, he's running through four cases. The cases are standard routine, Yad, Regel, Ain, and then the fourth, Chersho. Right? He deafens him, right? Specifically with the notion that one who's deaf, presumably a deaf mute, unable to communicate, is unable to do anything. Okay. But the other three, Yad, Regel, and Ain, are the three standard types of chovel b'chaviro that we have seen, again, all tracing back to our psukim. Now, to just be clear on what Rav is saying, we need to start with the end, because that's actually the clearest. Chersho noten lo demei kulo. Now, demei kulo here is not all of the money, which is not actually a phrase that would actually give us information, all of what money, but the money of all of him. Right? Cherish can't do any work. So, and since we know notenlo refers to nezek, so, whoop. There you go. Since notenlo refers to nezek, we say nezek has to cover his entire earning potential, since he can't do any work in the future. You pay him as nezek. The entire, covering his entire previous salary, and there's nothing left over for Shevet to cover. That's why Nintendo Demei Kulo has no second clause. Now for the other ones. Kata'at Yado, Nintendo Demei Yado, obvious. The Shevet, and for Shevet, Ro'ino Toki Ilu Hushomer Kishuin. So this matches our Mishnah, that the new profession that you, occupation I suppose, that you pay him for is that of Shomer Kishuin. So clearly, Shomer Kishuin only applies to the person who lost his hand. It is not going to apply to other cases. Right? Shevet is something that's determined on a case-by-case basis. But also note that Shomer Kishuin is the first one that he mentions. Right? The one that's in the Mishnah is also the first one that Rava deals with. Right? So Shomer Kishuin is associated with Yad as opposed to regular Ayin. And note what Rashi says. Adain hu ra'ui l'shomer kishuin. Even despite his injury, he is still at least able to be a shomer kishuin. That's why he gets paid that amount. Now, it turns out this is going to be, among the three things here, the best case scenario. When we get to Shiber at Raglo, Notendo de Meraglo, but Shevet, we pay him as Ki'ilu hu shomer et hapetach. Shomer et hapetach, guarding a gate or a door. And Rashi emphasizes, Shuv eino ra'ui lishmor kishuin. Shetarich lahalech saviv agina. You can't be shomer kishuin because to do that, you would have to be able to walk around and patrol. So, shomer kishuin is one level. Shomer petach is one level below in terms of how much it's paid. And then finally, simeteno, noteno demeino, again, nezek, shevet, re'ino tokiluhu matchino berechaim, tchina, grinding, rechaim is millstone. In other words, if he's blind, and then you have to assume here that simeteno implies blinding both his eyes, because we're talking about him as someone who is limited because he is unable to see, not because he is his depth of vision is somehow slightly affected. But chino b'rechaim is something that you can do without being able to see at all. It really is animal work, right? You can imagine a donkey or an ox with a millstone sort of attached to its shoulders, walking around in a circle, rolling the incredibly huge, heavy millstone, and grinding up the grain. So, work that could also be done by an ox or donkey, bound to be less well paid. End of the slideshow. So, the Mishnah's case, well, you pay him nezek, and then for shevet you give him shomer kishuin, is not across the board. Right? What you get paid depends on what kind of work you can do. But in terms of yad, regel, and ayin, shomer kishuin turns out to be the best of the different possible scenarios. So therefore the Mishnah mentions the best case, and Rav explains that it goes down from there until you get to the cheresh, who is able to earn nothing.